We've got bad breaking news. The 49ers did not leave Super Bowl weekend unscathed. Keion White, the defensive lineman whom they acquired from the New England Patriots in a trade, was shot in the ankle at 4 a.m. Monday morning. This happened, according to one report, on the 17th block of Mission Street in San Francisco. If that is to be taken as 1700 Mission Street, I'll show you exactly where that was on the map. But Keion White is currently undergoing surgery on his ankle where he was shot, and he is expected to be okay. The 49ers, in a statement, and I have the statement up here. This is the article from the San Francisco Standard. They say that Keion White was a victim of a shooting and sustained a bullet wound to his ankle this morning in San Francisco. He is currently undergoing surgery at a local hospital. We will provide further updates when appropriate. The rest of the information here from Evan Cernovsky is that there was an altercation between two groups at an event inside of a business. The business not specified, but again, I'll show you the map in a little bit. But White is not believed to have been involved in the altercation. After the shooting, he was taken by police to a nearby hospital. He had surgery on the ankle Monday afternoon and is expected to be okay. That is from Evan Cernovsky. So the first question right here is obviously about Keion White's well-being. Initial reports are that he is expected to be okay, non-life-threatening. But then as a football player, you've got to wonder what kind of damage has been done to his ankle since he was shot in the ankle. You have to wonder what exactly they're operating on, and then we'll know more beyond that. The 49ers say that they're going to release some more information later. We've got the article up on the San Francisco Standard. Jonah Owen Lamb is one of our crime reporters, does a great job in that aspect. So be sure to go and check this article because we're going to be updating it with more information as we get more information from our sources in the police department and around the city. But according to Evan Cernovsky, he said the 17th block of Mission Street, I believe that means 1700 Mission Street. If that is indeed the case, this is the location that we're dealing with. It has the red pin under the freeway, right where Mission Street crosses the freeway. So exiting south of Market, the Soma district, and moving into the Mission itself. I could zoom in on the location and you'll see that there is a brick and mortar music hall there, and also Public Works. That's actually where George Kittle's Super Bowl party was a few nights ago. That's another venue. That area has some former warehouses which have turned into music venues. I don't know if the Keion White incident happened there, but based on one of the reports that says the 17th block of Mission Street, I took that to mean 1700 Mission Street, and that would be on Mission and 13th or Division Street, which is right under the Central Freeway in a fairly inner part of San Francisco. Not quite downtown, but inner city San Francisco. And by inner city, I mean on the east side of Twin Peaks, the more dense part of San Francisco. And there are some nightlife venues in that area. In cases like these, I know that we had one of these shooting situations with Ricky Pearsall. That was in August of 2024. I'm very careful on this channel to only bring you the documented facts. I want to stay away from speculation. I want to keep things professional, but I also want to bring you the information in a timely manner. So that may mean several videos, because it's really tough to just sit here and make all the phone calls that I need to make. I will bring you information as it comes, if it does come over the course of this live. But if we have no further updates here over the course of the next 10 or 15 minutes, then what I might do is end the live, go collect information in a responsible manner, and then start another video when I have more information. It's not like football at this point, where we're reporting on a game or we're reporting on a practice or an injury report. That this is real life. Keion White, the 49ers defensive lineman, was shot at around 4 a.m. this morning in San Francisco, apparently in a nightlife district, but we don't have that fully confirmed yet. He is undergoing ankle surgery at a hospital in San Francisco. He is expected to be okay, but we do not know the full extent of damage to his ankle. White was acquired by the 49ers a week ahead of the trade deadline from the New England Patriots. So it might be worth noting that a lot of the Patriots were obviously in town for the Super Bowl, although it has not been linked that he was with Patriots players or with any Patriots people last night. The 49ers were very happy with their trade for Keion White. It essentially only cost them a 6th round draft pick, and he was productive for them in the 2025 season. He remains under contract with the 49ers through 2026. So one thing about the trade was that they got a player for a season and a half, not just the remainder of 2025. It wasn't just a rental. It was somebody who the 49ers felt they could work with heading into 2026. And I think that they were right about that based on how productive of an interior pass rusher he was. Chris Kasarik loves using Keion White rushing against guards on the inside in pass rushing situations, and he's on the edge in rundown situations. So it's like an Eric Armstead thing. White, a little bit bigger than your prototypical speed edge rusher. He checks in at about 270, maybe even 280 pounds. I'd probably in 270s is where he's at when it comes to his most effective weight. And that allows the 49ers to move him between the outside and the inside with some frequency. Mike has been great throughout this. He continues to send me some updates. He says that there is nothing new right now. I see a lot of speculation in the comments section about the bullet potentially hurting Keion White's bone. It obviously could have hurt tendons, ligaments. I mean, we don't know at this point. We do know that he is undergoing surgery. He's expected to be okay. This is a non-life-threatening incident, but anytime you get shot and you're a professional athlete, that can threaten your football career. So our thoughts and prayers right now are obviously with Keion White, because this is a harrowing situation, and the details are not fully out at this point yet. The 49ers, they're going to be reconstructing a lot of this defense over the course of the offseason, especially with a new coordinator, Raheem Morris. But assuming that Keion White does work his way back into health, I think there's definitely a spot for him on San Francisco's depth chart. Again, as that versatile outside-in rusher, I think they're going to be holding on to Chris Kasarik. They've loved the work that their defensive line coach has done over the past few years. And White definitely was a bright spot for the 49ers. Maybe not as a pure three-down player who's taken 60-plus snaps a game, but at 30 to 40 snaps a game, rotational piece, but a heavily used rotational piece, he's somebody that you really like out there. Explosive player coming out of college. 49ers love the skill set. I think that they scouted him heavily out of college, and then he went to the Patriots. And when they had a chance to trade for him because New England had moved to a different system under Mike Vrabel, the 49ers jumped on it a week before the deadline, and White was impactful for them over the course of 2025. Again, a lot of questions as to why Keion White got shot. This is a developing story. We don't have a lot of the information yet. I want to bring you the news in a timely and responsible fashion. We do know that he's going to be okay as far as this is not a life-threatening situation. We do know that this happened in San Francisco at 4 a.m. I can only bring you the facts at 4 a.m. after the Super Bowl. We do know that it happened inside a business, according to the San Francisco Police Department. And Nick Wagoner has just reported that the injuries are not considered to be career-threatening, which is good news in this case. So not life-threatening, not career-threatening. The team is going to have more information once the surgery is complete. So, I mean, and you zoom out and, I have to say, this team and just the news cycle surrounding the 49ers has been absolutely exhausting. They were eliminated a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, from the playoffs by the Seattle Seahawks. But the 49ers did not rest from the news cycle. Part of that was because the Super Bowl was in their home stadium. But another part of that was because the Seattle Seahawks, of all teams, were able to use the 49ers locker room and win the Super Bowl using it. So I'm sure that wasn't pleasant for 49ers fans to watch yesterday, watching the Seahawks celebrate in their locker room. Sam Darnold return. He was a beer pong toss away from his old locker stall in 2023, and he was the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks winning that Super Bowl. So 49ers obviously remained in that news cycle beyond what they had even wanted over the course of the Super Bowl. And then this drops. This happened at 4 a.m. in the morning. Keion White shot in San Francisco and is now undergoing surgery. I think that obviously Ricky Pearsall was shot in the chest in San Francisco. We knew that in August of 2024, but I would be careful about comparing the two events before we have full information on Keion White's circumstances and whatever was the context of what happened on Mission Street. He is undergoing that surgery right now. Ricky Pearsall went to San Francisco General Hospital in August 2024, right after an attempted robbery. It was an armed robbery attempt. And the suspect, a juvenile at the time, was arrested. I went to a few of those court hearings at the San Francisco Juvenile Hall of Justice. I believe that is still working its way through the legal system. Ricky Pearsall miraculously survived that. There were a couple of shots fired in that situation. One of them went through and through, so it entered Ricky Pearsall in the chest and exited out as kind of his shoulder / like back area. Miraculously didn't hit a vital organ, and he survived. A second shot, I think, actually ricocheted off the building and hit the shooter himself somewhere in the arm. And there might have been a attempt to pull the trigger a third time in that situation, but the gun jammed. So Ricky Pearsall escaped with his life after the robbery attempt. That was in broad daylight. That was back in August of 2024. This with Keion White at 4 a.m. after the Super Bowl on the 17th block of Mission Street, reportedly. But not life-threatening, not career-threatening. Those are two big pieces of news. We knew not life-threatening when I came aboard on this live, and Nick Wagner of ESPN has reported not career-threatening for Keion White. This article up on the screen, this is part of the San Francisco Standard. Our crime reporter, Jonah Owen Lamb, is keeping this one updated. We've gotten the statement from the 49ers, which confirms a lot of what I was relaying to you over this live. We'll see if there are any updates to this article right now. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. I am checking the phones as we speak, so you just have to have some patience for me. Keion White was at the Super Bowl yesterday because he did post on his Instagram story from the halftime show. So 23 hours ago, Keion White posted on Instagram. That was probably at about 6:22 p.m. That makes sense. That was about the time of the halftime show. Later, several hours later, you go from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. He was back up in the city, and that is when this shooting reportedly occurred. We have added the photo of his post from the Super Bowl into the article. There you can see it. That's from the halftime show. He had some seats right behind the goalpost. So that is the latest. I'm going to hop into the comment section, see if we have any questions here that are worth answering right now. But like I said, I'm going to be live again soon whenever we have more information. I want to handle this in a responsible manner. I don't want to, make any rushes to judgment as to what happened, since this is a developing situation and we have more information coming in. So I want to keep people updated early on. I wanted to give this live a long enough window to allow some more information to come in. We have all of this initial information, and this story is updating up on the San Francisco Standard. So we only want the facts in this case to be out there. We don't want anything extraneous, and we have the location reportedly 1700 block of Mission Street. We have the time 4 a.m. We have initial statement from the San Francisco Police Department. An altercation between two parties in a business. We have a statement from the 49ers saying that Keion White was a victim of a shooting and he's undergoing ankle surgery. We have a couple reports saying it is non-career threatening, non-life threatening. And we have another report saying that he was not part of the altercation, but obviously he was the victim of the shooting. So that's what we know so far. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to keep this as factual as possible. I will have more information for you, I promise, as soon as more is available. Everybody, thanks for watching. The drama just will not stop, will it? That's just the nature of this operation. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button so you're ready for the next update.